All right, I believe I am live. What is going on, everybody? I hope you're all doing great out there. And today, May the 6th, 2021, I bring you guys my thoughts and predictions as to what in the world is going on in the MMA world with this Diego Sanchez drama and, UFC 261 going down the way it did. And actually, today we even had that Mayweather brawl situation with the Paul brothers. If you guys caught that already, so yeah, now the Mayweather and Jake Paul were going at it, so that was very interesting. And then we got to see Dominick Reyes get knocked out by another guy that has his name starting with a J. So I mean that was very interesting. So I don't think Dominick Reyes should be fighting guys where their names start with a J. So that was very, very interesting. But yeah, I mean, if you guys caught that Mayweather and Paul Brothers event, man, there was like a little brawl where they were, I guess Jake Paul took uh Floyd's hat and he said, that's my hat or something. That was really funny. You guys check that out. But it's like literally trending all over the internet. But before I even dig into that, I just wanted to start off with UFC 261. Man, that was just a very unfortunate um you know piece of events that went down UFC 261. I mean, and I'm talking about the injuries. Obviously there were very, very great fights. That night, especially the co-main and the main event, were absolutely spectacular. They were very fun. But I mean, Chris Weidman, man, for his leg to be like that, that was absolutely brutal and painful. So, that was really bad. To see, future Hall of Famer, get injured like that. So that was definitely very bad. But Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute, same thing kind of happened. Anthony Smith kicked Jimmy Crute really hard, and it looks like it landed in the back of the leg, in the back of the knee, and then that caused Jimmy Crute to not be able to use his, foot and his leg entirely. And even though he wanted to continue to fight, the doctor called it off, and he did the right thing by doing so. So that was definitely a good move, by the UFC staff there. And it is what it is. And now we can definitely see that Sean O'Malley wasn't kidding whenever he said that, hey, I couldn't feel my leg. And he had his foot all messed up whenever he was fighting that one guy, I forget his face, but the guy he lost to pretty much against the fight where his foot went wrong. So yeah, so now I guess people aren't really you know taking Sean O'Malley all too lightly now, because it was obviously real. I mean, what happened to Chris Weidman? What happened to Jimmy Crute? I mean, that's big, guys. So I mean, now that we can look back at Sean O'Malley and say, man, he wasn't kidding. And it's certainly a type of injury that does seem to take place. So that was very, very interesting, for the fights to have gone down like that. But Anthony Smith and the Jimmy Crute fight was absolutely stunning. For as long as it lasted, they were pounding each other. So that was really cool. And Valentina Shevchenko and Jessica Andrade absolutely, Valentina absolutely just destroyed Jessica. That was like a one-sided beating. So kind of called it. That was kind of obvious. Man, Valentina is an absolute monster. She is really good in this sport of mixed martial arts, guys. So she is, also a definite future Hall of Famer. And then going on to the co-main event. And yeah, there isn't really too much to say about that fight. I mean, Valentina's a beast. So yeah, just going on to the co-main now between Weili Zhang and Rose Namajunas. Wow, I got this one actually wrong. You know what? I thought Weili had a chin, but man, that leg kick that landed right to the chin of Weili Zhang just literally put her right down to the mat, knocked out. She got up, trying to act like hey, she was good to fight and she wanted to continue, man. She was knocked out. I thought maybe, it could have been a bit early, but when I watched that replay, I'm like, man, she was knocked out cold when she hit the mat. So, um, yeah, I mean, wow, Rose you know, does not fail to, shock us. So that's super good. That is really, really good. So Rose is absolutely, a fighter that I now realize as to why everybody tunes into to watch. So, um, you know, and every time, now Rose fights, it's like Connor fighting. It's seriously that big now. So, shout out to Rose. Good for her. I'm happy for her. And yeah, that's really cool. That was very, very amazing to see, by the way. So let's see who she fights next. But I'll make another video on those. But let's go on to the main event now between Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. That one, was also very stunning too. I mean, it was a really good fight for as long as it lasted as well. They were blasting each other off. Jorge Masvidal had his moments there in that fight as well when, he turned on the offense. I can actually say that Kamaru Usman's leg was actually going out. I felt like his leg was actually going out as because Kamaru was landing some. I mean, Jorge Masvidal was landing some leg kicks, and I felt that the way Kamaru was moving towards the end of the fight, that for as long as it lasted before Kamaru knocked him out, I felt like his leg was going. So, he, I think, made a very good choice to go for the knockout, and it yielded a victory for Kamaru. So that was really good for him. But man, I didn't see it coming. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Kamaru came out and said before the fight that hey, he's gonna try to make this a very interesting one. But I thought personally, Kamaru's gonna come. He's gonna try to get Jorge Masvidal to the ground, and just using the same old, basic, boring, techniques to just lay on them and, just pound them for as much as you can for all 5 rounds and, get the victory that way and, secure win. But, oh man, Kamaru came in, he decided to stand with Jorge Masvidal. It was a good fight, but hey, Kamaru did really well. Kamaru, I've always said it, Kamaru has very good stand up too. But I feel like if that fight continued to progress and if that fight also continued to be on the feet, I feel like Jorge could have gotten the victory. But the thing is, if that fight even did continue to progress, I think Kamaru would have eventually decided to have taken it to the ground and get the wins that way. But um, yeah, I mean that was super cool, to see Kamaru knock out Jorge Masvidal like that, man. If you guys saw that replay, the way Jorge Masvidal's head hit his shoulder was absolutely spectacular to see. And it's not a very good replay to watch because obviously the UFC uses previous replays and stuff. But if you guys watch it, it was just crazy the way it happened. So that was really cool to see. So UFC 261 was obviously full of surprises. And it failed to disappoint. And it's being said that it's gonna be a card to be remembered. And I would definitely say it's top 20 card for sure. So now let's what should I talk about next? Let's see. I wonder about that. The Diego Sanchez. No, I'll get into the Diego Sanchez on the third notion. But secondly, I wanted to talk about Dominick Reyes knocked out this last Saturday. Now today's Thursday. I know we got some fights coming up. I believe. When is it? This Saturday? Yeah, it is. It's in 2 days. It was supposed to be Sandhagen and Dillashaw, but I think that fight's canceled now. So it's Watterson and Marina Rodriguez headlining the card. But I'll make another separate video about that later. But yeah, man, Dominick Reyes gets knocked out by another Polish guy. You know, because Jan did it, and now it was this GD Prokoska guy. So he was really good. Obviously, I guess he did it with a spinning elbow. I didn't really watch the fight. I just heard it, so I suppose it's true. So yeah, I mean GD Projanka, Procha. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that last name, but yeah, the guy was able to get it done. That's three losses Dominic has against guys where their names start with a J, which is really creepy, by the way. But hey, that's the reality, right? But furthermore, I think this guy, is definitely gonna have a future in that light heavyweight division. This guy I think is here to stay. So we'll even see if he gets to fight Jan, because he's apparently up there now, considering he knocked out Dominick Reyes, right? So we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, Reyes getting knocked out, man. The guy was a fighter. He put up, the best fight John Jones went up against. So we'll see how he comes back. I'm sure he will. So um, you know, uh, we'll see how GD does, in the future. So it looks like he's obviously, a prospect of being a champion. So that's going to be really nice to see as to how he does in his next few fights. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. But moreover, let's talk about some of the bad stuff that's been happening in the UFC with the Diego Sanchez and the Joshua Fabia guy, because there's a lot of talk that this Joshua Fabia guy is a bad guy, and I agree with that. It's seemingly looking that way. I mean, right when he went into the UFC's staff's face with Diego Sanchez in that room, um, the narrative, just like the word he likes to often use there, you know, was about him more so than about Diego Sanchez. So when he was talking, he was obviously, talking for himself, not for Diego Sanchez. So, if you guys just watch the video, you'll be able to see that. So, you know, kind of bad for Diego Sanchez, because the guy does certainly seem like someone that you can easily fool. I mean, I'm really sorry to say this, but that's just the reality of how it is. I mean, the guy's really just kept himself like a fool throughout the UFC. I mean, he truly has put in a lot in the company, by just getting punched in the face a lot, just to put on a put on an event for his boss, right? But that aside, I mean, that was what he signed up to do. So, it's not like, we should feel bad for that, but, you got to do it the smart way. But, I really do feel bad for Diego Sanchez, because, I mean, if he was smart from the beginning, then, he would have fought more technically like GSP and, many other fighters have. But, um, the guy's been able to continue to fight, and, he's been doing his own thing, but he hasn't really, had a chance at getting that belt. I mean, he got close to being close, but not really. I feel like he was just one of those other fighters that should have been dropped some time ago, but it looks like it's being done now. And I feel like he was just there to fight and not really go for a belt. And I feel like fighters like that shouldn't be competing in the UFC. Just because there are many others out there that will just and only go for the belt. So um I mean, I think the guy, should actually part ways from that Joshua Fabia guy, because that guy is obviously, um, uh, not very good for Diego Sanchez in terms of, what he's gonna do with his future entirely, because it does look like he's obviously controlling him in some sort of way. So, um, yeah, I mean, it looks like the story's slowly beginning to go down in terms of the trend, but we'll see what happens in this next few days. I mean, the weekend is coming up, so we'll see. What Diego Sanchez is gonna say. He'll probably release a couple more videos talking about the situation, but there is more. There is detail, of course, to the situation more than I described. Just right now, but you guys could just go watch the videos. But for the most part, it does seem like that Joshua Fabia guy is trying to get some type of benefit by being um by the side of Diego Sanchez, because he's obviously easy to control. No offense to him, but that's just the reality. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with that story, but it's obvious Diego Sanchez is out of the UFC, and that Joshua Fabia guy is now you know, for himself now. So we'll see, you know, how long Diego Sanchez is gonna stick by this Joshua Fabia guy before, you know, news gets out that, you know, he parted ways, because I think that's just a matter of time before it happens, because I believe it will happen, and it is just a matter of time. So and then lastly, the last thing I wanted to talk about was, you know, that Floyd Mayweather and, you know, Paul Brothers incident today. I don't know if you guys saw that, but I saw the, you know, headlines on my phone a little earlier, and then I didn't really look into it until like just right before I made this video. I was actually laughing. I mean, the way Jake Paul just took Floyd's hat, and the way Floyd literally just chased him right after trying to get it back, was truly funny. I mean, that truly felt like, you know, Floyd was legitimately mad. I mean, it seemed that way. I don't know if it was a play or anything. It didn't seem like a play. It seemed real actually to me. And it was truly funny though. The way it happened though. But yeah, I think um, not Jake, but what's that other guy's name? The guy that's gonna be boxing. What's his face? Floyd. Um, Not Jake, but let's see. Why do I forget his name? I'm literally blanking out on his name. Da, 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 da. Logan Paul. There we go. For some reason, I thought, you know, Logan's name started with a J. For some reason, I don't know. Too many J's rolling through my mind. Jan Blachowicz, you know, that GD guy. Jake Paul, right? So yeah. All right. Good to put a stop to the J's. So Uh, yeah, I want to say, Logan Paul fighting Floyd Mayweather. It looks like, you know, Jake got in there, took Floyd's hat, that pissed him off, and, you know, caused a little bit of a, you know, back and forth between, you know, the two groups of people. So good thing it didn't, you know, spiral out into a full, you know, fully, you know, uh, full blown, you know, combat fight, you know, right there, you know, turn into a street fight. So that was really good, but yeah, it's really cool to have seen, you know, all the security and everybody there, you know, just, you know, put the situation down, you know, and, you know, just de-escalate it, right? So, yeah, so I mean, that was pretty much, I guess it's obviously gonna be the story of the day. Everybody's gonna be talking about it. There's gonna be more, you know, people, you know, talking about it in the MMA world in just a little bit. So, stay tuned, guys. Let's see what happens. Let's see what other stories gonna, you know, be coming out. But you know, yeah, that Logan Paul and Floyd boxing event is on. So, you know, I'll make my um prediction video later for it, and I'll talk about it later on too. So and wow, man, Dogecoin is going crazy. If you guys are looking up into that crypto world, so you know, be good out there, guys. Drop those comments as to what you guys thought about, you know, all these events that took place, you know. And yeah, guys, take care of yourselves. Drop those comments, like the video, subscribe, and yeah, guys, peace, guys. I'll catch you later.